Warning, the Bob and Bob Show is not a news source. We are not in any way affiliated with media outlets, political parties, social movements, or extreme organizations. Please do not take this content to be true or accurate. Enjoy the show.
I'm not here to be tactful or diplomatic. You listen, you obey. Down on the ground, both of you, lay down on the ground, lay down on the ground.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47.
All these people out here are blaming guns for acts of evil, and a gun is just a tool. It's an inanimate object like a hammer or a knife or a rental truck.
Coming from the divided of America.
It's the Bob and Bob Show.
Hey, what's up out there, everybody? You are on the Bob and Bob Show, our first live broadcast on Podbean. I'm glad they came up with this new system here for us to go live. It's a pretty decent thing. What do you guys think?
It's brand new.
Brand new.
Well, we got the bearded one, Bob, with me as always.
Yo.
I am LB. I'm the other Bob. And we have the Chopperoonie Chops over there. How you doing?
Good morning, sunshine.
You could catch us, obviously, on Podbean. There's also iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. I think we're on Spreaker.
iHeart.
Yeah, you can catch us there, too. Make sure to go there. We love the Podbean app. That's where we're always at.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. So, and with this new live stream, man, we're loving it. I think the whole little message board here is pretty good too. So,
it's looking good so far.
Yeehaw! Well, let's get off to the races, man. We have a whole bunch of stuff on deck in the news. It's always a bunch of jargon, a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
They're like propagandizing things all the time, and they're always going against the Second Amendment for some reason. Obviously,
lately.
It's a lately thing, but the red flag laws we're talking about all the time now.
Yeah.
Has any of those even gone through?
Yeah.
So they're actually going. They're like raiding people's homes.
Yeah.
now?
There's already people that have been killed during red flag confiscations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I do have this article here. This was in Ohio in Medina County where there was a fake 911 call that sent a SWAT team into somebody's home. And they didn't even do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just kicking down somebody's door because somebody, they're saying some gamer reported it because he was angry because he lost.
Sure.
That's not the first time that's happened in
Right.
Medina either.
Well,
Medina does that all the time.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's been a while since I've been to a gun show. Several years. The last gun show I went to was probably like 2014. There was a raffle there for the Medina County Sheriff's Office to win an AR-15.
Oh, yeah.
So you pay like $5, which is a donation to the Sheriff's Department, and they enter your name into a raffle or an AR-15. Isn't that ironic?
That's awesome. Oh, I think I heard that on the news too.
I think I bought a ticket. I think I still have it.
Yeah,
it's
like-
Medina's got a huge gun set.
Yeah. Well, see.
yeah.
this
Oh,
is-
yeah. It is the biggest around.
Here's
here.
the thing. This is the correlation between the red flag laws and somebody just not liking you, so they call
Right.
the cops on you.
You're bringing in the Salem witch trial element now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is bad news because, cops will kick down the door or whatever, SWAT team, whatever. And they're going to say, lay on the ground, put your arms behind your head or whatever. They're going to have all these commands that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And if you're having problems understanding what they're saying, because they're probably screaming
It
at the top of
doesn't.
their
It
lungs.
doesn't matter. Anybody that kicks your door in like that is a threat to your domicile,
Yeah.
and it's what it is.
Well, you make one false
mean-
move, they might pop a cap in
Well,
your
they
ass.
will. They're ready to. They're more like.
They want to.
They're more like stormtroopers than they are police. Honestly, at this point,
Well,
in 2019 in the USA, I mean, the military, the government is selling military surplus coming back from combat in Afghanistan and Iraq and Yemen and wherever else we are, Syria, and selling it to sheriff's departments and police departments domestically.
yeah, I know. We'll see.
That's where all this stuff's coming from.
Just like you can't classify all cops as being these gung-ho, crazy, flat top having, we're going to stormtroop your house kind of people, because they're average citizens too.
Some of them,
But
I mean, they're police, dude.
Yeah.
There's going to be a spectrum,
No.
and it's going to vary
Police-
from department to department too.
Police are those little kids that got beat up every day on recess.
Some of
that
them are.
grew up, got themselves a badge, and go picking on all them guys who beat them up.
yeah, no, I mean
That is the case a lot.
yeah, that is the
Yeah.
case a lot. But sometimes, and I talk to a lot of police over my days, and I actually know some police, and some are just dumber than a box of rocks. Like they literally do not know what your constitutional rights are, and if you start saying what your rights are, they get angry and they detain you.
Yeah.
What are you, some crazy constitutionalist? You know what I mean?
Well,
What?
How dare you know your rights?
Yeah, how dare you
Get in
tell
the
me?
back of the car.
It's
Right.
when you challenge, it just becomes an authoritative positioning thing. If you challenge them, they're going to up the ante, and they can.
Second
That's
Amendment,
where there's danger in it. You know.
cavity search.
Oh yeah, body cavity search.
But the
right
idea
on the
that
street.
you can just call somebody in anonymously, and it results in a SWAT team raid on their house.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's a really, really, really bad place to be. The fact that that is even a possibility at the position of law enforcement. Why are they just going on some tip? I mean, is that what's the whole story?
Yeah,
You know,
well, how come they don't have enough evidence to actually, that's not.
That's what I
evidence.
mean, though.
Yeah, that's
Like,
just somebody calling in and being
it's just
like,
a phone call.
"This guy's being a jerk. His dog keeps pissing on my tree in my yard, so I'm going to send a SWAT team over there."
Oh, this guy told me he's building a bomb, and then they go kick in his door and
Well, that's different.
set off. No, it's not.
If he tells you that he's building a
What
bomb,
if he
that's
doesn't, man? That's what I'm talking about. The guy made you mad playing a video game, and you call the cops on him saying he's building a bomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they go kick his door down, set off a bunch of concussion grenades, ruin everything in his house, like he was making meth there or something.
Yeah.
Because those chemicals get into everything.
End up killing his dog. Or
Yeah,
something.
they'll kill anything that smiles at him when they're getting to his room where he's sleeping. If he's lucky, he makes it out of there alive. But they just done ruined his life.
Well, I mean, we do
Over what? An anonymous phone call because somebody was pissed.
Yeah. Well, we do live in a world where, there's a lot. I don't know if it's the media just glorifying the violence or what, but it's showing. It just seems like people are getting more irate and violent now. You know what I mean?
It's definitely propagated. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, man.
Well, they continue to, blame the AR-15 and now they're, AK-47 and all these semi-automatic weapons and stuff like that. But, you can't blame the weapon. You have to blame the person behind the weapon.
Sure.
And nobody's really, I guess they are kind of looking at people.
We don't know anything about the shooters.
They're looking at people's mental health sometimes. I hear
They're talking about background checks for mentally ill, but that's arbitrary. It's an arbitrary ideal. The wording of the law has to be absolutely specific, direct, and cut down to the molecule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is a big open door for tyranny sitting right there, and that's what this is all about. That's what we're talking about right now.
That's a scary thing. I was on YouTube yesterday looking for sound bites and all kinds of stuff, and I was watching all these videos of SWAT raids and police raids. And, I saw one where they actually raided the wrong house.
Yeah, it happens.
And there was a family in there and the kid's crying. And,
Sure.
The guy's son is like, "Daddy, help, Daddy."
That's professional, right?
Yeah. And then, military style police are kicking in their door.
It is absolutely military style.
For no reason. They had no reason to go into that home other than they're too incompetent to figure out that this is the wrong place.
Right.
Sure.
To read a warrant.
Yeah. So let's just say, for instance, that that kid or the mom or somebody didn't interlace their fingers when they told them to behind their head properly,
Right.
or they were arguing with bam, and they shoot them.
Well,
Right.
Think about how ridiculous that is. They did no surveillance on the house before they went and kicked the door.
It's
Yeah.
horrible
You know what I mean?
intelligence. Yeah.
That's horrible.
But there's another side of this too. What was the raid intended for at the correct house? Was it just because someone had a pound of weed or something? Because they'll do it over that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
The shoe doesn't fit, man.
Yeah.
The whole paradigm is bad. The whole model is wrong.
Well, I tell you, I was watching these videos and like my heart was hurting. I was scared. I wasn't, it's just a YouTube video.
You don't ever say stuff like that.
I'm just saying, because I'm just thinking, I'm over in the back of my head here, like playing out a scenario, maybe we're at your house, maybe we're at somebody's house, and they just don't like what we're saying on the radio, and all of a sudden they SWAT team us.
Right.
And, we're not doing anything wrong.
No.
And, but, that's scary. They could shoot you,
Yeah.
and, they want to take away semi-automatic weapons from the American people, but yet the military and the police still get to keep them. And, private armed security guards that are, helping out the politicians that run around saying, get rid of guns, but they have armed guards.
Right.
So,
Well, Paul, here's the thing. There's a couple ways to look at that. These politicians are going after the guns that are made for war or whatever. Oh, I want to say something about the bullets real quick. The Full Metal Jacket is used for war. The idea is to make each shot count to where you make as many casualties as you can. Beto says it's to do as much damage as possible when it hits you.
well, actually, it's
No.
it's Beto.
Whatever.
We were calling him Beto.
He's
or something.
Beto to me. So Beto says that. Well, here's the thing. The reason they use Full Metal Jacket is so it goes through you, the guy behind you, and the guy behind them to make 3 casualties. It's not even about killing you or doing damage to your body. It's just about making a casualty out of you. That's what those bullets are made for, man. That's not what cops are using, and it's not what hunters are using, and I don't know, Beto's just wrong about it. But Anyway, so we
Veto the
have
veto.
some of these politicians up here talking semi-automatics, weapons that are made for war, blah blah blah. But there's another reality. Feinstein and Trump are both working to pass a bill right now that will take away over 700 different firearms from legal ownership or possession. Pretty much anything semi-automatic is what they're going after, and the guns are named specifically in the bill.
Great.
It's bipartisan. I mean, it's worse than what Beto is talking about.
Well,
It's not as dramatic, and nobody is trumpeting it over the airwaves, so it's slipping through.
yeah. We do have to pay attention to the fact that, Trump acts like he's trumpeting for the people of the states, but he's really not. He's really still doing the same dumb stuff that the politicians and presidents always do. So, I mean, they're just frontmen for the New World Order, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know if there is a New World Order. Or
Well, we
whatever
know
they're
there is.
talking about.
There's a compartmentalization going on, though.
I don't know, a deep state or something like that. I don't know. So all I'm trying to do is just keep a show going here. We're just trying to have a podcast,
Yeah.
and we want to talk about things. You know what I mean?
Well, this is what we talk about, man.
Yeah. So we keep things going, and there's a surveillance state that goes on too, and this all kind of plays into the red flag laws and any of these laws that are against your Second Amendment or your First Amendment, because this surveillance state and your security and your data mining, they're gonna take all these things and weigh it out and be like, well, is this dude a threat? Is this lady a threat?
Everybody is being watched. It's at this point, it's not about ending up on a list. You are on one. It's about where you're at on the list.
Right.
Everybody's being watched all the time.
Yeah. The higher you get on the list, the more they look at you. Apparently, I guess. I don't know.
So
I'm a 10. A 10.
I was watching a documentary about the Stasi, the East German secret police, last night, and they had it was something like 30,000 employees that were specialists on surveillance. And
Okay.
this is like in the 70s and 80s, you know what I mean? It was before the surveillance state even had the capability to be what it is right now. And they were still watching everything everyone was doing.
Yeah.
They were just really spies everywhere. Imagine living in a world like that. We do live in a world like
Right.
that right now.
Well, I got this article here about smart faucets and toilets use Alexa to listen into your conversation. This is crazy because I'm on the toilet and it's listening to you. So,
Everything listens to you.
I mean, this isn't you have to actually go out and buy the thing. It's not like they're going to make sure you have it. I mean, maybe down the road they'll make that mandatory that you have to have a smart
No,
toilet.
they don't have to. They just have to sell it to you, man.
Man, think of the things my toilet could tell you if it was listening.
Yeah.
I
What
don't
would
have a smart toilet.
you don't have a smart toilet?
My toilet
My
speaks.
toilet's really dumb.
My toilet speaks in fart.
It's probably because it's been
Stupid
clogged a bunch of
toilet.
times. Yeah, so we have, let's see, who is making that? It's called Voice IQ. I don't know what that's all about, but it's.
I seen it on a movie once. It was on a movie by him or something like that. That I'm telling you, this toilet had a big old screen on it. You can control it from your phone, talk to it. It talked to you. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is Delta Faucet and Kohler. They're the ones trying to launch this, I guess.
I can see the commercial right now. Delta, did I turn the shower off before I left? Nobody needs that.
Right.
Nobody needs that.
Well, you'd be sitting on a toilet and it's going to say you need more fiber in your
Right.
diet.
Yeah, we don't need any of this. We really don't. Man.
And then you have your credit card already linked to it, and then all of
Right.
a sudden Amazon's already selling you a
Yeah.
fiber supplement, and
We
you didn't
don't-
even like ask to buy it. It just says you need it.
We don't
According
need
to your
any of it.
monthly fecal specimen, you need more fiber, less salt,
Less salt.
less fatty
Smart
foods.
fridges. No, man, none of it.
You're not digesting the corn as well as you should. be.
Corn is where the belong.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think that's crazy. I don't think I don't have an Alexa in my home. I don't.
No
want,
way.
I don't want any of them smart devices in my home.
I don't even want my
You
phone.
have a smart device.
Well, I
in your
have
phone-
I
on
have
your-
my
on your
phone,
right.
my tracking device.
That's enough.
But
You ever notice that he hides that thing though?
yeah, it's always hidden. I have the cameras always taped over.
It's underneath
I mean,
aluminum foil.
and
Yep.
it's not that I'm trying to hide something. It's that I just don't want outside internet, governmental, whoever knowing what I'm doing. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
Right.
I have privacy. All of us should have privacy. You can't be tracking everything I do and everything I say all the time. It's ridiculous.
I feel like the idea socially here, just like young people, especially their opinions on individual privacy, I feel like they don't value it like they used to.
No.
Like I know, like people that are younger than us is where I tend to see this. It's like people just don't value personal privacy like they used to, so they're going to be willing to give it up because they don't value it in the first place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they don't even know what the freedom is of privacy to begin with. They don't care anymore.
Right.
I mean, they live in glass houses now.
Well, a lot of people are being
what it
quite
is.
literally born into this. I mean, it's how old are smartphones now? They came out. iPhone came out in like 2007, dude.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I mean,
so people have been constantly being tracked, and I guess some of the statistical data that comes out of this, it shows movement of populations and what they're doing. And I guess advertising and all that can follow you around and sell you the things you need. and
that's
all that
probably
kind of
the
stuff.
main drive for this.
I mean, but that's one side of it.
Yeah.
The other side of it is government is involved with it. And you got Mark Zuckerturd up there, in Congress.
Suck a turd.
We're going to do
Yep,
more about
that's my
this.
girlfriend.
We're going to do more about privacy and your security.
I don't even give a skunk.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many times we've said about the corporatocracy before, because these things are just.
I didn't see it unfolding in the way that it is, though.
Yeah, I didn't see social media being such
Well,
a big player in it.
Yeah, I mean, it like Amazon, like the convenience of Amazon and the iPhone just catalyzed a whole new world order, man. Like, it's crazy.
I see an Amazon truck on my street every day.
Yeah, they're all
Every
over the
day.
place.
Amazon truck. I thought.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime truck.
Oh, they
They're
actually
blue
do. Oh, is that what a
vans.
prime truck
Yeah, they're
is?
box
Yeah.
vans zipping around, throwing boxes
Yep.
at people.
Every day.
Yeah, they're just moving stuff around. Pretty soon, those drones, they'll be delivering stuff with drones.
Yep.
I
So,
think tried that
That'd be
some
awesome.
places.
yeah,
There's gonna be people shooting them down.
I don't know. It'll be a felony probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll make
Well, they
sure,
gotta
and then
catch 'em.
then you're stuck in the system, and you're paying more money. Pay all the freaking time. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Pay.
I imagine they're gonna have delivery routes, like they can only go over top the streets and stuff. If they fly over my house, I'm shooting them down.
Well, think about the problems with like other aircraft that are in there.
Yeah.
and they're trying to
Yeah.
make sure everybody's on the right flight
The
path.
FCC get involved in this.
Yep.
Oh
They
man,
can only go up so high.
You know-
There's all kinds of stuff.
You know how freaking complicated like flight patterns and flight planning is? It's insane how complicated
Yeah.
that is.
Well, hey, since
logistically.
we're talking about Amazon, I have an article here too about this. Amazon bans a book that is about ending gun violence, and he's pretty much anti-gun. And the cover image on the book that he's selling has a gun on there, and they said it seems too extreme to have it, so they're not going to sell his book unless he changes the image on his book.
Elmer
Wow.
Fudd had a gun.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen him in forever.
I mean, Wile E. Coyote used to strap
But see,
bombs to
but see-
himself.
but
Right.
see, Amazon.
Kill that thing. Try and kill that thing every day.
Well, see, Amazon's buying into the whole propaganda scheme again from the left or wherever you want to call them, because it's a left-right paradigm. They're both the same wings on the same bird. I mean, they're different wings on the same bird.
It's controlled opposition,
Yeah,
man.
but either way, when you see media and you see everybody now, movies and entertainment in Hollywood
That ain't
just-
nothing new.
pushing the hell out of this leftist agenda,
Yeah.
and they're pushing the hell out of silencing free speech. They want to get rid of semi-autos right now. What are they going to want to do later on down the road? We don't know.
Well, the thing is, a
Get rid of
semi-auto is
airsoft. They're going to get rid of everything.
a semi-auto is almost everything there is, though. That's the thing.
Well, see here, so
These days,
we're talking about this corporatocracy, big companies like Amazon and Facebook and the oil industry, all these people. So they're following right in the lead right there, and they're going to start banning this.
that
and
is the
banning that.
oligarchy, though.
Yeah, they're all part of it.
Right.
They don't, whether they know it or not.
They know it.
Well, they're
It's the
gonna-
billionaire class.
They're going to start cutting it out they can't sell them anymore. So all the major players are not going to be able to sell certain guns, and then it's going to trickle on down the road. That's how they'll get rid of them.
yeah.
Well, just straight up prohibit
Just
them.
wait it out, you know?
Yeah. Well, it takes time to take these guns from us. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, it's like I was saying, you can set a log on fire to turn it into dust, or you can just let nature do it over a period of 10 years. Both methods will turn it into dust. The setting it on fire method is going to be quicker, but it's also going to be incredibly violent.
Yep.
So it's the same. It's the same dynamic. You can prohibit over an entire generation or two, or you can mandate and enforce and start a freaking war.
Well, last show we're talking about Beto, whatever his name is, O'Rourke. And, here's some things, we talk about this all the time. They're always going to say a few things that you like. So obviously he said some things that we don't like on the last show, but he also, he wants to get legalized marijuana
So
for recreational use.
I'll find somebody that respects personal liberty and doesn't want to take an AR-15 away from an innocent person or prohibit them.
They've already taken
With weed.
putting a stranglehold on getting rid of guns for everybody. Felons already can't have guns. You know,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
already a certain amount of people that aren't allowed to have guns.
Well, you know, they don't want bad guys with felonies to have guns.
and then people who have life problems go to the doctor. They can't have guns. So
Right.
there's that many people that
And that's
can't
not-
have guns.
That's not
Yeah.
necessarily a permanent condition either. Neither is being a felon, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah.
Felonies, the felony and mental illness, those are massive wide brushes, dude.
right. Yeah,
Well,
that's
see,
a huge stroke right there.
here's-
All those people can't have
Here's how the
guns.
judicial system works. Like, even before you even get into the courts, the police, you know, they have such a turnaround of felonies being dropped or cases being dropped down lower. You know, say you had like an aggravated offense or you had like a certain felony, they'll drop it down to a lower felony
Sure.
because they don't have really enough evidence. They're kind of scared to take.
But
it to
you were already
trial.
in jail before all that's even started.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
here's how it works. Here's how it works. So they will say you have an incident where the police shows up and, you know, you get charged with something. They charge you with the worst thing they can
Right.
possibly find first.
Over indict you.
Yeah, so they know that it's going to get whittled down later on.
Sure.
But that is still in your record.
Right.
And
So-
you still got to pay for an attorney to get it off and prove
Oh, yeah,
yourself innocent.
Some of it you can't even get off. Some of it,
Right.
And I guess
Even if you don't do it.
here in Ohio, apparently you can never get the DUIs off your record ever.
What?
Yeah,
I thought
I
it
had
was 7 years.
No, I had an attorney tell me this the other day. He's like, "Yeah, they stay on forever." So
It becomes not a big deal after a while, though.
I guess, but you know, if they
Does
put,
it show on your insurance after 7 years?
It's like having medical bills. Everybody's got them. It's no big deal.
yeah, that's no big deal. Yeah.
Like I'm talking like credit report type stuff.
it is
you
a
know?
big deal to your credit report. Yeah.
For a while. For a
Yeah.
while. If you're paying on them consistently, they usually look away from it. But
Well, here's the thing, man. So really, they don't even need to be out there bitching and moaning about banning these semi-automatic weapons, because over time, people are eventually all going to become part of the police state, and they're going to be having these issues where they can't own weapons legally because they're on Zoloft or because they have
that's where we're going
yeah,
right now.
or they have
They
the
have high
medical
blood pressure.
yeah, they have the medical marijuana card. They
It's
can't
a
have
soft
it.
confiscation.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. That'll be next. The medical marijuana card can't.
I think it already is.
It might be. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that if you do have it, then you can't have a weapon.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
I know. So I guess, but you know, a guy can walk around and be drunk off his, out of his mind all day long, and he can just continue to keep shooting off weapons. And,
There's another thing here that law, the way law works here. It's all based on opinions. It's all about what the prosecutor wants to do, what the judge wants to do, what the jury wants to do, and all of this hangs in somebody's opinion.
yeah,
If you have a personality conflict with the judge, even vibes, you know what I mean? Like you can get a bad rap just because you and the judge don't get along,
yeah,
even if it's not all that just what the ruling is.
Or you could get away with it if you and the judge do get along.
Sure. I bet.
or you can be like high corporate interests and just pay off the judge.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
You can change
That always
opinions
works.
with gold.
Yeah, because they're all paid off. They all own everything.
Yeah.
You know, if you're really that kind of guy and you have that kind of money, you can get out of a lot of stuff. So, I mean, obviously they got to throw the elites with the big money or the big Hollywood people who are like paying to get their children into college and stuff like that. You know, they got to throw some people under the bus. You know, make
Yeah.
it look like they're doing
Like
something.
Have
Epstein?
sex slave islands. Yeah.
Yeah, like Epstein.
Yeah,
sex
and,
planes.
You know, that guy's out of the news. I mean, yeah, he's dead, but you know, that was a big situation right there. Why?
Because
And
something
you know
else
what?
happened that we missed. That's what it is. We missed something.
Those situations are not uncommon either. If you look back through the history of scandal, it's there's a whole lot of assassinating going on, man. It runs the gamut
Yeah.
from research professionals to, billionaire playboys. It's all over the place.
Well, you can't let I don't
It's
know
all over the place, like after sex pee.
what.
It goes all over the place.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're throwing R. Kelly to the wolves, but I don't think.
That's during sex pee.
Yeah, I don't think his golden showers are gonna make it.
Right.
Man, R. Kelly.
Oh man, but he's not an elite. You know, he's obviously just a washed-up musician from back in the day.
Yeah. He's
know.
got a weird pee fetish, man.
Yeah.
Made him more
what
famous
is
than his
wrong?
music.
Yeah.
Wrong with you? That dude was on Epstein's plane for sure.
He was on Epstein's
Yeah.
plane.
I don't know if
For
he
sure.
was in that club or not, man.
I don't
Imagine
know.
he saved his whole career and bought one ticket. I'm going on a plane ride once.
Listen, I got another article here. It says 6 U.S. cities make the list of the most surveilled places in the world.
Man,
So, I mean, really, China? I mean, I know
Dude.
China has way more surveillance than we
the
do.
UK, man, there's 5 million active cameras in the UK. Active meaning live people are monitoring them.
Looks like
It's crazy.
the number of security cameras in the U.S. grew from 33 million in 2012 to 62 million in 2016.
Man,
Wow.
there's been a keyboard here the whole time.
I know,
you
he's off in La La
I
Land.
was listening to what he was saying. Yes, I was.
Oh, geez, here we go with that. Atlanta was the only place in the U.S. to crack the top 10. So they have 15.56 cameras per 1,000 residents. So
That's like New York.
yeah,
Only New York probably has that many cameras. There's so many cameras in New York.
it's just,
Yeah.
I guess cameras can catch certain things, certain criminals and things that are happening. I get it, but where is this data going? I mean, am I going to get an email saying that let's say a camera picked me up on the road or wherever, and it's going to say you were scratching your butt and you were picking your nose, and we want $50 million, or we're going to post this online and make you look like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like,
You don't need cameras for that. You have Cody.
All right.
He'll tell you when you do all that stuff.
Hey, you know what? If you look around just in your everyday life, you're going to see cameras everywhere. People aren't looking for them, though. But they're right over your head.
yeah.
I'm not even talking about private cameras. I'm talking about government stuff.
Yeah. Well, Chicago has about 13 cameras per 1,000 residents. DC has 5.6 cameras per 1,000 residents. The other 3 cities have have 3 or less cameras per 1,000 residents. So Chicago had the highest number of individual cameras. It's crazy. So I mean, like the police chiefs and were interviewed at some of these states and stuff like that, and they're like, "Yeah, we need this. It helps us solve crime. It helps us do this. It helps us do that. It's a great tool, and it's also a great tool for other
That's
resources too.
That is always what they say, though.
Yeah, it's for your
What's
own
the
good,
TSA for?
to grope you.
I mean, all they've accomplished is getting people used to police state activity.
Yeah,
They're not really stopping anything, man.
it's
All they're keeping you from being able to take a cigarette lighter or a bottle of shampoo onto a plane because it might be a bomb, right?
yeah.
Or travel with cash or
Yeah, it's just
Any-
it's ridiculous.
any kind of drugs they refuse to let through. It's
Well, yeah. So
ridiculous.
they'll be like, oh, this might be a bomb, so they throw it in the trash can right next to you.
Right,
Yeah, next.
right.
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably take it in to analyze it or something. I
Right.
don't know.
After it
Like,
explodes or before?
This is dangerous, but it will look good in my shower.
Dude, I'll tell you what. If I was going through a TSA line with a bomb on me and I was about to get busted with it, I would just set that thing off right there.
I mean,
that's what the
That's the plan
suicide
anyway.
bombers do.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the plan anyway, right?
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
guess. I mean,
Anyone that's on a plane with a bomb and intends to blow up the
Listen,
plane
what I
is
don't-
planning on dying right there. So
what I understand is at most airports, all you got to do is there's doors that lead right out to the tarmac on your way to security. All you got to do is pop that door open, run out towards the plane.
yeah.
well, they'll tackle you.
Yeah, they'll
bro.
tackle you.
Okay, that's fine, but don't matter. Boom, you're gonna catch me. You know?
The surveillance state is crazy. I don't know. I mean, we're being watched by like 10 cameras right now. We actually have
Yeah.
our own cameras going too.
On purpose.
On purpose. But if you have the semi-automatic weapon situation, I mean, I just don't know where this is going to lead. Is this going to lead to no-knock raids? Is this going to?
Dude, no-knock raids are already a huge thing in the United States.
I'm just saying, is it going to lead on a mass scale or something?
Well, it seems like that's what some politicians are pushing for,
Yeah.
including Trump and Feinstein together.
I can't
real.
believe Feinstein's still around.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's a tyrant, man.
Huge tyrant. We got Ted Nugent coming up here on the half. He says a few things. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Not really. No, actually, it's not funny. He's just trying to point out that, from these mass shootings in the schools and stuff like that, like they're brainwashing these children and they're getting them to fall in line, and they are the next generation.
Well, that's what institutions do. They mold you into what they want you to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
But they keep pulling at the nation's heartstrings, and they want you to feel. And you know what? It's such a sad situation that children have to die over this stuff.
it is.
But pulling on our heartstrings and trying to disarm us over it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not a gun owner. Okay?
Living in a tyrannical nation is horrible for the children
It
too.
is. Well, all right, man. We got the halfway point here, guys. Everybody, stay tuned. We'll be coming back around in about 2 minutes.
Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big media news, all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls.
The lies from these poor, brain children who have been fed lies and parrot the lies, they are actually committing spiritual suicide because everything they recommend will cause more death and mayhem.
A lot of people make a lot of money selling firearms and ammunition.
The National Rifle Association has said the solution is to have armed security guards at every school.
Certainly, every piece of security we engage in can be helpful, but it's foolish to think that only security is what we need. The great challenge is here, can we prevent these tragedies?
I'm sorry to interrupt, Chief, but since you've just brought up this notion of prevention, which is, of course, the real issue here, right? I'm curious when this conversation is going to move to more relevant social science. You know, I see we have, for example, the NRA here. Yet we don't have anyone from the pharmaceutical industry. Isn't it true that most of the mass shootings that have commenced have been done by people who are under the influence of psychologically mood-altering medications?
What rights do you feel like guns have that you as a Hispanic woman don't have, that you would want?
I feel like guns have the right to stay in this country. Like, they protect guns in this country. They don't protect my people in this country. They want my people to be deported.
Right now in DC, 99.99% of people here can't carry a gun here. So, I mean, would you like to be banned from public places?
No, I wouldn't want to be banned from public places.
You don't want the same rights as a gun, right?
No. What?
All right, we're back. See, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, Bearded One.
Yo.
You know, that girl, that Mexican at the end, you know, she's like...
How'd you know she was Mexican?
Because he said in the beginning. She
I thought
said...
he said Hispanic or something.
Whatever. She said, you know, the guns have more rights than me. And actually in that video, she's holding a sign, I want the same rights as a gun.
Okay.
And then the guy's like, well, here in D.C., weapons are banned. Would you like to be banned from cities?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, an object doesn't have rights.
Well,
It's
here's the
just
thing.
an
You know,
object.
this is why this is definitely a younger generational thing. Or you know, they're trying to brainwash them. And then that was from March for Our Lives after that shooting or whatever.
Dude, I see boomers all the time making the same dumb
So
argument.
it's like, are you that dumb? You know, you want the
Yes.
same rights as a gun, or is society being dumbed down that stinking bad that they'll go in the streets to ban their own weapons like that? What is going on?
People don't understand how negative rights work in the first place and the reality that they absolutely can't be abolished. But there's more to it than that. People can't think rationally, logically and rationally, because nobody's ever taught to. You kind of have to figure that out on your own.
Yeah.
They don't teach you that in school. You just
Well-
memorize a bunch of platitudes and stuff, and
No,
basic math and things like that.
Well,
There aren't logic classes just in regular public school. I mean, sometimes you can learn that, but it's really not something that the establishment is interested in you mastering. They're interested in you becoming a productive member of society and a taxpayer. That is it.
Yeah. Well, before the half, I was trying to say that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't own guns, and that's fine. I don't own one, you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
know most of my friends and all my neighbors, they all own them.
Yeah.
And if their rights, if they're getting the no-knock rate and they're taking their guns from them, because, you know, I'm counting on them to protect me. You know, my neighbors, if something's happening, they'll come over here and help me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or if I need to run and I get to them, they will be armed and they will be able to help protect me and my family. I choose not to own weapons. That's my choice. Maybe I should get a weapon. I mean, it seems like things are getting crazy now. But now you can't even own an AR-15. So
Well, you can still.
that's a weapon of war. You can't use a weapon of war.
You know what? If Beto breaks into my house like he used to back in the day.
Beto?
Yeah. Do you know he has burglary charges on his record?
Oh, no, I saw something like
Yeah,
that.
it's true. I looked it up, man. I wanted to confirm it was true before I said anything.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But I don't know, man. If Beto wants to break into my house, I'm not going to confront him with an AR-15. I'm going to confront him with my British Royal Navy cutlass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the AR-15 isn't for that. It's for tyranny, man. It's
Well,
for,
you know,
it's for
we're-
domestic warfare.
We're always on this gun thing. I'm just getting so tired of talking about it all the time, and it's just always being attacked. We always have to talk about. It's almost getting like so repetitive. I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't deal with it anymore. So
It's a big deal right now.
And then, you
it's
know-
also covering up other things.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's taking attention away from like a war that's going to happen in Iran
Mhm.
or something like
Saudi
that.
Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, like jumping on their bandwagon and trying to, retaliate against Iran.
It's all about oil, dude.
Yeah, that's a situation I actually just saw. I think today on the news.
Oligarchical
I think they
power.
are sending troops over to Saudi Arabia to get their back.
I'm unclear on it, but I had a feeling it was going to happen any day since that's all they were talking about.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh Lord Jesus."
Like there's tons of stuff going on with that, and I don't want a world war. I mean, come on, these are corporations that are trying to make. We haven't had a really good, serious war in a while now. We've had these little. We've had
We got to have a good one. A
right.
good one's
Well,
coming
these have
here.
been these slow proxy wars,
Sure.
and they've been, we got 1,000 troops here, 1,000 troops there, and it's just. I think the financial oligarchs are just not making enough money right now, so they need to boost that war up and fund both sides of it.
Well,
you know?
I thought the whole idea was to destabilize a whole bunch of Middle Eastern countries and put puppet regimes in them, and it looks like we've done that to a few of them. There's a couple left.
We have little wars all over the world.
Yeah,
Sounds like a world war.
well, they're little tiny ones. You have to have one.
It's gotta be
Russia
a big
against
one.
China, China against us. Everybody's taking sides. You need all that kind of dumb stuff going. It's stupid. And then on top of it, we also have the whole climate change debate too. And
Climate change is very, very complicated.
it is. It's real, I believe. What do you think?
Well, numbers don't lie, man.
I
I,
know.
mean, you can manipulate how you come up with numbers, but if they are from a rational place, they don't lie.
Yeah.
And there is climate change going on that's going to make some places colder and some places hotter. It's going to change seasons. I don't know how many people have noticed this, but I've noticed that it seems like summer and winter are growing and spring and fall are shrinking. I mean, it's kind of something I just think is going on. I don't have any data to prove
I
that,
know.
but-
You think like it just stays warmer longer?
Yeah, dude.
Into
look,
fall.
man. Yeah, it's about to be the end of September. Our forecast next week is still almost like 85, 87 degrees every day. It was
Yeah, that's
never-
here in Ohio.
But it's been trending that way. Like the seasons are shifting, and summer and winter are growing. But anyway,
It is because the axis of the world is shifting.
yeah, and
That's
and
exactly
it changes the jet stream, and then
Yeah,
it changes
the
climate. So-
equator, where the equator's at brings it up.
Does
So,
it?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Are you a
If it-
scientist?
Well,
if the axis of the world changes and it stands
the
up
position
straight,
of the equator
it's gonna
changes,
bring-
but
yeah,
the equator
it's
itself
gonna,
is
right, the
still in the same
equator's
spot.
still in the same spot, but the
Right.
position of it in the world on land is different. Shut up, Bob. We knew what we were talking about, man. Go on.
Dude.
Well, I see these guys. I got some buddies, and I'll be looking at my activity stream on one of these social media platforms, and they'll be like, "Plant trees, plant trees." Be
That's a
tree."
good idea.
I'm like, okay, plant trees, but you know how long it takes for a freaking tree to grow to start freaking.
Why not get started now, though, man?
Why not grow hemp? What's wrong with hemp?
Do both.
Yeah, well, hemp should be pushed a little more than growing trees, I think. I mean, why are the trees gone in the first
But,
place?
dude,
Because you have to transfer like the pulp industry and paper and all that stuff. So let's get that on hemp and keep growing trees, obviously. But it seems like hemp should be pushed more to try to change the dynamic of the usage of trees.
You're talking about two different things. What you're talking about is a charity that is focused around planting trees, not for the pulp industry, just to put trees back to where we've cut millions of them a year down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the goal of that. Then the other thing is turning to hemp to replace a lot of the pulp, paper, and petrochemical industry products is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say we need to change things up, man. We can't keep using trees for everything. If you're gonna grow a tree, you're gonna plant 5 trees, then you're gonna cut down 500 trees to keep feeding the paper tree.
Well, those are on tree farms too. I've seen those, man. They're pretty crazy the way they set them up.
Yeah, well, trees don't grow in 90 days.
No, they don't.
I
They
mean,
have
it's
different
a full-
sections.
it's a full growth.
And they cut them down very young. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's literally a mill. It's a farm, but it's renewable, but it's not as fast. Hemp is way faster and way cheaper. You can get a lot more production out of it. The only reason hemp isn't a thing is because Harry Anslinger turned the nation against it way back in the day.
Yeah. Well, I agree. We do need trees. They've been getting cut down a lot. So, I mean, but first we have to like change the manufacturing process and what we're gonna,
You're talking about a complete like industrial shift.
Yeah,
and
use something else. For
there's
crying out
going to
loud.
be so much resistance for that, but all you can do is start doing it. Set an example.
Yeah. Well, that's illegal. They might come take your guns if you don't have a license to grow hemp.
Right.
So.
Hey, they used to take your driver's license if you were caught with a bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't driving.
That's paraphernalia.
They still
Right.
do that.
Do
You
they?
still get a 6-month suspension.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess it depends on what state you're in. I bet
It's
you the laws
Ohio,
are different.
yeah.
Yeah. Ohio's so
Yeah,
far
but you don't
behind.
get your license suspended if you have
In some
weed.
way.
You can have weed, not get your license.
Yeah, you
suspended,
can't have a pipe.
but you can't have a pipe.
I mean,
Crazy.
some of these laws are just ridiculous.
Well, look who's writing them, man.
Hemp. I'm all for it. I got a lot of, they just passed.
I'm
the,
excited about it.
What is it? The 2019 Farm Bill just went through federal side of it, and now other states are starting to jump on board. Ohio is one of them.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how the licensing works out here by spring. They're saying that you're going to be able to apply for your license and get it and be ready to grow by spring. So
Cash crop.
Whatever moves that fast.
I don't know.
You know what I
Well-
mean? Nothing ever moves that fast when it comes to paperwork, ever.
Well, it's been in the works for a while. It didn't just start.
When
They're
did you say
getting
that we're
ready
going to
to-
accept applications, start accepting applications? March?
I don't know. They're the Department of Agriculture and Ohio State University are still trying to draw up the licensing terms and plans. Like you literally got to go on Google. You got to like GPS your location, draw a map around it, show the plot of land that you're actually going to grow it on, and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be heavily
It's-
regulated.
Yeah, it's going to be very heavily regulated.
Right.
And-
Expect the feds to be there quarterly at
Yeah.
least.
And you can't go over a 0.3% THC level.
Yeah.
Or you just trash your whole crop.
What?
Yeah. So
If anybody has any problems with that, call me. I will come get rid of it for you.
yeah, I'm sure that's going to work out. But hemp can be used for so many different things. And, the plastic problem, the straws getting banned in California like a bunch of idiots. I mean, I'm going to tell you this right now.
Renewable, biodegradable plastics,
I'm gonna tell you.
polymers.
I'm gonna tell listeners right now, and you guys already know. If you're banning something and you have to make a law for it, then you're not coming up with a solution.
Right.
You are literally just causing prohibition. You're
Right.
causing more violence. You're causing more criminals. You're putting more people into the criminal justice system.
Prohibition is not a solution. It's just moving something to somewhere else. It doesn't make anything go away.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna ban freaking straws. Like, come on, dude, for real. What is that gonna do? Because some kid wrote a report in school, isn't that what that was over?
Yeah.
it was some
It wasn't even like a real
Ridiculous.
thing, man. It's
Right.
just some kid writing something.
Well, it was numbers that he made up. And straws are crappy if you think about it. For one reason. They're non-biodegradable. They're made out of plastic that doesn't go away for like 1,000,000 years, That's garbage, literally.
Have you ever tried to use a paper straw? They have them.
Yeah,
out
paper straws suck,
bars
but
and restaurants.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Oh, they suck.
But you can make straws out of there are different things like biodegradable polymers, maybe from hemp, right? that straws can be made of, and they'll still be your little crappy, flimsy, disposable straw, but not a paper one, And you throw it away with your cup when you're done.
No, these paper
But
straws they're heavy duty. They're thick.
it turns into jelly in the water after like a month instead of after 1,000,000 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, we're gonna move away from that situation. Let's move into Chops. Our listeners. I don't know if you guys have listened to us before, but Chops thinks he's an alien.
I don't think anything.
Yeah, you
I
said
just-
he knows
I
he's an
know.
alien.
all right. He knows
I'm
he's
an
an alien. He's here. If you haven't listened to our earlier shows, he's actually here to.
He's 4 ectons old.
Yeah,
He's,
he's trying to
We
recruit.
don't have enough time in the show this time. That's next time.
I know. I'm just going to get a brief thing out real
Brief it
quick.
out.
This is you. You believe that you are sent from outer space and you're here to recruit men to take up to your planet or your spaceship, right? And because all the women, you're overrun with women, right?
Yes, that's all the.
So you're
alien race
recruiting
is
men.
Women.
You're recruiting
There's-
men. now.
Listen, it's like a reverse beehive. Okay, all the women are the worker bees, and then there's one male queen, which is me.
You're a queen.
Yes, I'm bored. To be
Oh.
honest with you, I got to out and about. Can you imagine 50,000 women just? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Well, okay.
too
So
much.
since you're,
But listen,
they
no,
got
on
any
it
of your
for real.
buddies? They got.
On it for real. I did see a UFO the other day.
Yeah.
I have documentation, video, and photo.
So
I gotta see this.
I do. I got it.
He never mentioned any of this before the
Busted.
show.
Yeah, I
either.
was supposed to talk about it during the show, but
he sent me a picture. Okay,
You saw it?
Yeah,
it's your typical UFO
It was a white-
photo, but so I had my neighbor. I was yelling for my neighbor to come. I was like, "Get out here, freaking UFO!" So he came outside. He brought his iPhone. He's got real good video of it on an iPhone.
I know you.
And
sent
then
me
it flies next to a plane. You can see the difference in between them.
Looked like a white dot to me, like a star or something.
Well, in real life, it looked like a white dot. Yeah, it looked like a moving star is what it looked like. But
wow, that's
it
pretty
was
crazy.
huge.
So if we're on the alien thing here, what's going on with Area 51? You know, I saw
I
something.
think 100 people went out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what mainstream media is reporting, but
Sure.
I think they're turning it into a big giant party, like down the road from there, probably, or something. That's what I heard.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think it was going to be?
I knew they weren't going to storm Area 51. That's for sure.
Of course not. They couldn't possibly. It's
They'd be
silly.
like, "Here's the aliens.
Yeah, they're like, here you go. You can see it.
Thank you for coming."
I'm surprised the government didn't put on some goofy show for them, man.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine how bored some of those guys must be out there? Like some of those Air Force dudes that are just like watching missiles.
I think somebody got arrested. I think somebody got arrested too. I don't know. I see the stuff flying across my feed, and I'm looking on different, platforms or different news sources. I'm gonna tell you something about news sources too. Drudge Report has some crazy stuff on there, man.
Right. If you think about Area 51 is in the middle of like 5 different restricted areas, and they're all mountains. So
Yeah.
you have to go through restricted areas to even be able to see Area 51.
There are layers.
You have to go through a restricted area just to be able to see the security gate for Area 51.
Right.
I wonder if any Star Trekkies are going there, or
They ain't gonna see nothing but a mountain.
Yeah, but
You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure there's a party over there. They can go.
Oh, yeah.
People walking around with like alien costumes on. And
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
Like that.
Out riding dune buggies and stuff all around the dirt.
Yeah,
Dude, in the
desert.
90s, that
That'd be
was
so
the
much fun.
whole Roswell area was like that all the time. Man.
That'd be so much fun.
Well, they
I'd go mess with them and make them chase me and stuff.
Well, maybe scientists and spectators that run some of these, Hubble telescopes and stuff like that, they found a object coming from clearly outside our solar system. I think this is the second one, and they're saying they can't. They're not seeing any radio frequencies coming off of it or anything like that. So they don't think it's like some kind of alien or alien probe coming into our solar system or whatever. But what kind of information is that? They're probably just saying that not to scare
Well, I
people.
mean, is it an asteroid or something? I mean,
It's a comet.
This is the second thing to enter our galaxy. And I think it's 2 years. What is it, 2 years or 3 years?
I don't know. This one is called C 2019 Q4. Yeah, it's the second time in less than 2 years that they've seen an object from another.
Yeah, first
solar
one was
system.
Momo.
Momo?
Yeah, that was the first one. Was Momo.
You mean Momo, that scary doll?
No,
hoax
no,
that
that's the
happened?
name of the first thing that entered the solar system last year. Or
He
2
knows
years
because
ago.
he's the one that sent it here.
It's an alien probe. Inside of it,
I don't know. There's been so much, like it seems like the UFO stuff and all the objects being caught in space. It's like ramping up more and
yeah,
more.
they're
There's-
preparing.
There's probably different levels of consciousness with these extraterrestrial situations. I bet some of them just come straight through stargates and things like that. It's like just pop into here from another dimension.
Right, yeah.
Like black holes or
Wormhole.
something.
And yeah,
Wormholes.
all that kind of
Element
stuff.
115.
But then there's others that are
Unreal.
literally going to fly in on hardware, like on equipment, like comets, like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And physically fly in.
Listen, they just found a 1 foot alien in Siberia.
A 1 foot.
Yep, he was 1 foot tall, dead with his leg ripped off and everything.
Would you see that on Ripley's Believe It or Not?
No, it was on TV.
Because the TV's always right.
Listen, man, Google it. Google it.
Sure, you can Google
Siberia
anything.
alien.
I can find
They
anything.
did.
on
Listen,
Google.
they did tests on it, and the Men in Black came in and swooped it up.
Really?
Yep. And listen, now they're
If
trying
it
to
was
say-
classified, you would know nothing about it.
now they're trying to say that. Now they're trying to say the Men in Black are aliens. Yeah, they're saying
Really?
that, yeah, they're saying that they are the alien police.
There's some really
They come in and
strange
clean everything
video.
up.
There's some strange
Will
video
Smith
on YouTube.
is an
man.
alien.
Oh,
No,
very well
no,
could.
there's some really strange video on YouTube, man. Like some of the Secret Service agents and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's almost. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I'm not making any clear. I don't know how to explain any of this. I know I've seen the videos, and they're not crystal clear, but I almost like. if these guys are extraterrestrial, because this is the hypothetical situation that's on the video, they're Secret Service agents that are watching Obama during a speech, and their cloak starts to fail. Like they start to look like aliens.
Oh, so like the lizard people start coming out?
Yeah, they start like their movements start to get really jerky in an unnatural way. They start to look a little bit manic and jerky in a way that humans don't normally move. Like that real fast, jerky, like lizard-like movement.
Yeah.
Where's
It's
that at?
pretty weird, dude. We
What
can
is
check
that?
it out on YouTube.
The
you know?
Obama what? What is it?
It's Obama's doing a speech, and somebody had a camera on a couple of Secret Service guys, and it got super weird, dude. Like their head shape started to change. You just have to watch it.
I don't know. I'm not buying that.
Well, you just have to watch it. is
I
what
know
I'm
you can
saying.
watch it. But I'm
Here,
sure
right here, somebody put up a post on where that
That's the
alien
ancient
is.
alien show.
Yeah,
That's
that's where I've seen it.
Yeah, that's a great way
My
to do.
favorite show.
That's some great video editing right there. You just make somebody like just flicker and turn into a lizard.
Maybe you'll just have to watch it. I want to see what you think, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's
Listen.
weird, is all I'm saying. I mean,
Well, I'm not denying that there isn't aliens. That's for sure.
I would. I mean,
I
I'd
just-
go on the record and say if you think there's not, then you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
100%
Well,
chance that
let's.
there is.
Why is the government going to
But-
hold this stuff from us? You know, that's kind of irritating.
Why wouldn't they?
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't they? But you
Yeah,
know,
but yeah, what would people do with that information? They'll be rioting in the streets and
Maybe.
everything.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
It's so-
People have to figure it out on their own, and then
It's
it
so-
won't be chaos.
They would think it's the end of the world if aliens.
A lot of
started
people
coming.
would. Dude, people thought it was the end of the world when, geez, I just forgot the guy's name, and I always know it every day, and it just rolled out of my freaking
What? Who
skull.
did that talk show?
The
over
War of the
over
Worlds.
radio.
Yeah, Orson Welles.
Orson Welles.
War of the Worlds. People freaked out over that.
Freaked.
Like, for real.
Yeah, but it's been so normalized now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody,
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
alien TV shows.
Yeah, people wouldn't freak out over that now.
Yeah, they got they walk around with an alien on their T-shirt and stuff. Like,
Sure.
if an alien actually came down to Earth, you think people would really flip out? I think it would be
Yeah.
shocking.
It'd be a mixture, I think.
I don't think people are going to hit the streets and riot. Maybe they're warming us up for
There's a
something.
lot of people that walk around saying that did actually
That's
happen,
what I
though.
said earlier. People they're warming us up for something they already know is going to happen.
They're going to be like, listen, for the past 45, 50 years within your United States government, the president has been an alien.
Right.
Or something crazy. You know?
40
Beep, beep, ooh.
For the past 4,500 years on planet Earth, the ruling class has been aliens. How about that?
He's from the race.
The
So
dolphin race. Nice sound effect there.
I don't know, man. Orson Welles really got people stirred up. It was a different world, but all throughout history, you have stories of people that have like abduction stories and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they probably, what was their reaction? They were completely shocked.
Yeah.
That would be pretty much anyone's reaction.
You look at religion too. It's always saying something came from the skies and all
Sure.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They call it God, but what is it now?
Right. People point to whatever their frame of reference is, whatever has been indoctrinated into them, or whatever the first conclusion they're going to draw is going to be. It's going to go somewhere where they can explain it to themselves
Yeah.
and accept it.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times it's going to be religious,
Yeah. It's gonna be
especially
crazy.
through history.
And even it's crazy. You see it even on the History Channel itself, or Ancient Aliens and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They literally put these two. They paint a picture for everybody to see it. In the old days,
It's
you would,
pretty compelling.
in the
though,
old
man.
days that'd be blasphemy. You know what I mean?
Oh, they
you
get
can,
ripped to pieces on a wheel.
yeah, you can't even do that. Like
Yeah.
now, it's like normal. Nobody cares. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. That sounds kind of logical to me.
The world has greatly liberated over time, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Let's see. We are about 53 minutes into it. At the hour mark, we're going to take calls if anybody wants to take calls. Message on the board here. Say that you'd like to call in. We'll open up the call line here probably in about another 7 minutes or something like that if you guys are
Yeah.
interested. If you want to talk about aliens, if you want to talk about, the surveillance state, smart toilets, the fake, the 9/11 call that gets somebody's house raided for no reason other than a fake call.
Or bring up something that we didn't even talk about.
Sure. If you got something you want to talk about, feel free to, chime in. But we're just going to keep rambling if you're going to call in. So that's how it's going to work.
I'll tell you.
Hello.
I'll tell you what really bugs me though is that I forget we talked about that Senate bill before that Feinstein was pushing to ban all them guns,
Yeah.
and we've done this on the show before. It was like probably a year and a half ago, but that's still hot because Trump is talking about it with her now, and Trump's supposed to be Mr. Anti-establishment and all that.
Yeah. He's not. He's not.
Yeah, he doesn't even stick to the party agenda.
No, not at all.
It's
It's so funny too when you watch people with their
He's
politics.
about to make a massive gun control move with Feinstein, and nobody's talking about
They're
it.
not
man.
gonna talk about it
Because it's too big. It's the real deal. Beto's a clown. Trump and Feinstein are pushing through the real crap, the real stuff that's going to screw everybody.
Yeah. You politically speaking, I mean, it's just it's a dog and pony show. It is. We don't know. You know, we're going to take off. Trump took off all these regulations, and now the economy's being.
That's the wrong kind of small government.
Yeah, you don't. You know, some of these regulations probably help the environment. Like some of them are
It's-
trashing it now.
They were,
because of
yeah.
it.
Those regulations were to thwart tyranny, and that's the only service government should provide. Regulating corporations that don't care if they completely wreck the ecosystem is important.
Yeah.
And doing that is a tyranny to the entire ecosystem and all the people and animals and life that live in it.
Yeah.
So that needs to be in place, man, because these corporations do not care. If you need information to back that up, just look around.
Yeah, it's
I
profit,
mean,
profit.
it's all it
profit.
ever is.
Commercials,
Just
profit.
The massive
Commercials.
destruction that goes on is completely sociopathic, and something has to stop that. And Trump just rolled it back. Well, and he's going to put the screw citizens' civil rights. It's the wrong kind of government.
What do you think is going to happen here in 2020 there, Bearded One, when the election starts running around?
I have
here?
no idea, man.
You know what I've been thinking about recently is like, you know, right now you've been seeing all these Democratic debates. You've been hearing all these Democrats and leftists screaming everything all over mainstream media. But why is it that Republicans aren't out there having debates at the same time? Why is it that the Democrats get this long head start before the election where they get to have all this airtime?
Because the dice are loaded in that direction, man.
So, I mean, this is how it happens. If there's a Republican president, the Democrats start before the election cycle. If it's a Democratic president,
that it?
That's what I remember. Let's see, when Obama was, you know, his last term and Trump became president, it was all the Republicans having their debates real early on.
Well, that's just how it's set up then. I mean, I don't know, whatever.
It doesn't make sense to me. Why wouldn't you have both sides at the same time, or at least, you know, the Democrats having their national debate this week and then the Republicans having their national debate the next week? You know,
It always just goes back and forth.
so right now, well, you know, the public is being force-fed just the left Democratic side.
Sure.
They're not hearing the right Republican side.
Sure.
So, I mean, does this kind of steer elections right here? Just
Yeah.
by all that kind of
course.
exposure for the Democrats?
Of course. Exposure has a lot to do with sales, man.
That seems crazy to me, man. It doesn't
Well,
make
what's going to
sense.
happen is they're going to pick their brand of garbage and insanity and narrow it down to one person in that party, and the other side's going to do the same thing. And then those two garbage and insanity factions that have really bad ideas for the citizens are going to fight over who's going to implement their bad ideas over the citizens.
Well, I don't think it matters because it's the same thing.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
The model is rotten, dude.
And then everybody's fighting about it. They don't like each
It's
other.
so deeply corrupted.
I
at
don't
this
like
point.
you because you like Trump.
Right.
Or I don't like you because
Identity
you have purple
politics.
hair. Yeah, you have purple hair. I don't like you. You know what I mean?
It's identity
You're
politics.
a soft batch cookie. I don't like you.
Oh, I want to revisit something. I said on the last show, I said something about racism not being the major issue and all that. And I went back listening to the show and thinking it totally minimizes the issue of racism. I just want to disclose that racism is absolutely a real thing, and especially systemically. But perpetuating it through media like MTV and CNN do is not going to do any good. It's going to keep it the way it is. If you don't want racism in the world, don't be a racist. Get people to follow your example, and bam, it's gone. So that's that.
Well, you, my friend, are white, and that means you're a racist.
Oh yeah, I must be so privileged.
Exactly.
And
Especially
racist.
if you say you're
I'm
a strong white man.
I'm
That's
everything
really
that I'm everything that a 20-year-old girl on campus tweeting through her iPhone during a boring lecture says I am, right?
It's crazy how the dynamic has just like swapped around and been turned into the white nationalist racist stuff everywhere now.
It's such a
crazy.
It's such a minority too. That's the thing. But the more it gets propagated, the more people screech about it, the more it's going to grow, and the more the problem will grow.
Well, we
with
went
it.
from the best rapper turning into a white person and the best golfer turning into a black person. Now everybody's racist. What is happening here?
You know what I'm saying?
You know,
It's so
why can't
goofy.
Rodney King?
Dude.
Why can't we all just get along?
Dude, you know what people do?
He had it right
dude,
back in the day.
I've been going to hundreds of different plants. Everywhere a blue collar person, the working class, everywhere those people work, they're integrated and people always get along.
It's that woo woo.
That whole the whole racial divide in the everyday social world isn't really there. Not any more so than high school cliques are.
Oh well, if you watch CNBC, NBC, ABC, Alphabet Soup, and all
That's
that,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're like everybody's racist, you
Right.
know, and they glorify the struggle of these minority groups all the time,
Right.
and they make the white people feel bad. Then you literally have white people who hate themselves.
It's all about equal opportunity for the individual, and that is the only boundary there should be, because there's no greater minority than the individual. So if the individual has all the rights and opportunity that can be afforded to them, then they can be free.
Well,
And being for the individual, guess what doesn't matter? Gender or race.
Well, how emotionally unstable are you if you hate yourself because you're white?
Well, there's a lot of people like that.
It doesn't make any sense to me anymore.
Yeah, I guess they drank some kind of Kool-Aid, man. I
Yeah.
don't know, man. I think it's goofy.
Yeah, well, you know, the world is a vampire and it's sucking us dry. And you have tons of, I don't know, mainstream horror media people that I don't know what.
It's a propaganda machine,
Like,
man.
how
and
can
it's
you
part of the
be-
state.
How can you be an intellectual being and on TV and listening and saying the things you're saying without understanding that it's hurting the American people? You are steering their opinions in the
That's the whole
wrong
point.
direction.
That's the whole point, man.
You're teaching them not to think for themselves. You're teaching them to believe what they see.
People are not taught not to think for themselves in school.
Well, I mean, it starts there, but I mean, the older you get,
It's the Prussian model.
The more you watch, the more you hear Trump out there saying his idiotic crap that he says. All the
Obama
time.
was really good at lying to
Oh,
us.
he was a sly dog too.
He's one of the best orators we've had in decades, man, up there.
Well,
Bill Clinton was pretty good at it, too.
George Bush was kind of an idiot.
He wasn't very good at
He
it.
was kind of stupid. But, you know, if you follow politics and you understand what's going on, everything that you see, you probably like, this guy, he is really part of the propaganda machine.
Yeah.
He is really.
Well,
what
they
is he
don't really
taking-
have a choice.
What is he taking payouts, or what are they going to do? They're going to assassinate the president because he doesn't do what the corporatocracy wants him
If
to
you
do.
want to stay in the club, you got to play ball,
Are
man.
you going to get JFK'd? If who wants to run for president now? It seems so freaking crazy now. Like, what is happening? And the identity politics, and then the political correctness that isn't happening anymore. I guess now everything's just.
I'm ready for
haywire.
that to go away.
They're doing all these personal attacks all the time. I want to hear policy. I want to hear what you're going to do about the police state. I want to hear what you're going to do about Facebook or Twitter or Google or all the delisting and deranking and getting rid of people because they said something that they don't like. Like
Yeah.
what? I guess we've talked about it before. These
You want to
plat-
hear what they're going to do about restoring negative rights or
Yeah.
civil rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not restoring them, just leaving alone and letting
Or
them
leaving
be.
them alone.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let the rights be there like they're supposed to be. You don't have the right to restrict any of them, none.
Yeah.
And then we go with the debate on the
Well, that's
Second
what the
Amendment.
state. That's what the state does.
This guy the other day I was talking to, he's like, well, Second Amendment is for a well-regulated militia only. Are you part of the well-regulated
Listen,
militia?
the Second Amendment is not about the state militia. It's not about the National Guard, which is a government entity funded by taxes. A well-regulated militia is supposed to be private for the people not connected to government as a power balance against government. To say that the well-regulated militia was about a government militia funded by taxpayers is like saying the right to free speech applies to the government and Congress having the right to speak freely, as opposed to the people. The Bill of Rights isn't for the government. It's for the people restricting the government. That is what negative law is.
Well, the government is what gave you the right.
No, it didn't. The rights are there without government.
Well,
the rights are there in a void.
Government seems to
Government
act like,
can recognize them or deny them.
First off, even before government even gets involved, the people have to understand what's going on.
Sure.
If they are clueless and dumb
Or misled.
and they're not looking at it from all different side of the coin here, they're not going to understand that government does not have the right to restrict your rights.
Right.
It does not have that right.
Well, it can't do it.
Yeah, they want to put amendments in for different things and stuff like that. And if how is Congress and how is the government going to get their agenda through without manipulating the public to support them? That's the key.
It's all a sales pitch.
So you get all these blue hair leftists or whoever. I mean, I hate calling people all these different names, but from one side you look at the left and you're like, these people are freaking insane. They want to get rid of everything.
There's going to be insanity everywhere. though.
Everything that's
There's
on-
insanity on the right too.
Everything that's on their mouths is ban this, ban that,
Yeah,
ban
that's
this,
crazy.
ban that.
The automatic appeal to authority. That's who you find
Yeah.
over there. Yeah.
So okay, ban wearing red shoes now, or ban driving your car because
So-
it's the carbon emissions.
Some internal uneasiness they experience, they expect to be controlled externally. That's silly. That's baby time.
Yeah.
Control it yourself. It's your problem.
Well-
it's something in your skull and doesn't exist outside of your head. It's your problem.
Well, eventually they're gonna want to tax you because your car, has carbon emissions, and they're gonna tax you for that. But instead of going after the corporations and the manufacturers in the auto industry and making them change their dynamic, making them change their cars to, fully electric, fully solar.
Sometimes they do. That's how seatbelts became
Well,
a thing.
the market has to ask for it.
Here, yeah, right. Here's the thing: having cars with seatbelts, is that a good idea? Yeah, it's a great idea. You should have a car with seatbelts. Should you be forced to wear your seatbelt?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
That's infringing. If I want to,
The option is there. Great.
Yeah, if I want to
But-
go drink 2 cases of beer and fall into a alcohol coma and die, I mean, I can do that. But if you don't wear your seatbelt, I'm gonna freaking fine you. And if you keep doing it, you in jail. I bet you if
Right.
you get like 10 seatbelt tickets, you're doing 30 days in the slammer.
I don't
Probably.
know, man.
It's insane.
It's either way. It's $100 or $200 or something like that out of your pocket that goes right to the city. So.
Well, where the hell does the state get the audacity to tell me whether or not I have to wear a seatbelt?
Because nobody stopped them from doing it.
Yeah,
That's why.
Well, you get this accident, that accident, and they're like, well, we need to save lives. And, school shootings happen. We need to restrict the Second Amendment to save lives.
It won't, though.
There's too many car accidents with people dying in them. We need to, make stricter seatbelt laws.
But comparing cars to guns, that always wears thin on me because it's kind of like comparing a bicycle to a pizza. I mean, it's not an apples to apples in any way.
Yeah.
Not in use or intent or motive or design or anything.
Well, it's gonna be like, look, son, this year we had X amount of auto accidents that were
Yeah.
caused deaths.
I got to do a big
We're
debate
gonna
about
have
that.
to take the seatbelt law and we're gonna have to enhance it. Now you have to wear a 4-point or 3-point harness in your car. And if you're not got a 3-point harness like you're in a race car, then you're gonna get a ticket for $2,000.
Right.
I mean, this is the Orwellian style stuff that can happen later on in life. If the public continues to let these things happen.
Sure.
And
Or
if-
just start paying attention.
I mean, if you pay
Well,
attention,
that's
yeah,
step
If you
one.
pay
yeah,
attention,
that's step one.
yeah, right. That nobody's paying attention. That's the whole problem.
Well, no,
Nobody
it's-
cares.
no, they're paying attention. A lot of them, and they're agreeing.
Yeah.
Now that's the problem. They're like, well, these people here on this side, they don't seem like they should have weapons. So we got to either take them or restrict them or do whatever because they're school shooting, and because there's
Smash.
You're talking about people that aren't capable of like rational, conclusive, objective thought.
but they're quick to go vote,
Right.
and they're going to put in that political party.
They're
that-
paying attention, but they don't really get it. There's a difference. You can pay attention and still not get it. I mean,
Some good old Kool-Aid.
Yeah, they want some good old fashioned dum dums. Vote what they want. They want you fluoridated with your drinking water.
when are we going live on here, man, with the call-in thing?
Oh yeah, we going in an hour here. Oh, we got 8 minutes in there. So if anybody wants to call in, I'm gonna open up right
Just
now.
open it up, dude. See
Sorry,
what
I
happens.
got into the.
I wondered where you were going with that.
Yeah, I got into the talking, so you know how it goes. So right now, if anybody's listening, you can go ahead and call in and try to. We don't even know how this thing works.
This is our first time doing this. We didn't even really have an opportunity to test it or anything. It's kind of a all or nothing deal.
Yeah, I mean, if you're scared and you don't want to call in, that's fine. I know there's some topics out here that people don't want to talk about. It's a little scary, but it's okay. Call in, or at least type in the messaging board or whatever, and we'll just keep rambling here for about another 20 minutes, and then our show's
Hey,
over.
we got a few people talking on there.
Yeah.
We used to do Discord. I don't know if anyone listening right now used to listen to us on Discord. We got pretty active on there. We'd have about 5 or 6 people debating with us at once. It got a little hectic
Yeah,
sometimes.
it got clogged up too.
Yeah.
The server started bogging down on us when we had so many people in there. But
Well, that's why we got rid of it. We couldn't support it.
yeah, we'll see what Podbean does. I know this is the first live stuff, and there's a few shows that've been out there live. I don't know how they did. I'm gonna try to contact them and see how they were doing with their live shows.
Yeah.
I know I watched a webinar the other day with some Podbean stuff, and they took everybody's comments, and they're going to be looking into that side of it, and hopefully give us some stuff like the equalizer, the graphic EQ to check our levels. Make sure
Mhm.
we're not clipping out stuff like that.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so we'll continue on watching them and trying to get things moving and stuff. But yeah, we are the Bob and Bob Show. You can go. We actually have a website. It's bobandbobshow.com. You can go there. We have some videos and stuff that happens in the studio. We got some promo videos coming out soon.
Yeah.
We will be adding guests and stuff like that, and hopefully
There's a lot of people that want to come in and be on the show, but they're living lives too. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
got to like plan for it. And we're talking to people from out of state. You know?
Yeah, well, hopefully with this platform, it gives us the opportunity to have guests and stuff. So if anybody
Sure.
ever wants to be a guest, you can email me at lb@raredandco.com, or you can catch us on Facebook at the Bob and Bob Show page on Facebook.
Definitely.
There's a Facebook comment section on the bobandbobshow.com webpage. You can actually leave a comment in there if you want to talk to us about something. I know we do have a couple upcoming guests that we'll get. We have Dr. Scott.
Yeah, he wants to come back on.
We had a big vaccine debate with him. Actually, it wasn't
Dude,
even
he
a
didn't even
debate.
get started, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. We got to get him
Yeah.
back on.
He's got a whole lot of knowledge to put out there, man.
Yeah, we'll try to bring Solar Jeff back on the squad here.
If he'll do it.
Yeah, if he'll do it. Solar Jeff is a guy that has
He's so stubborn.
a home that's run on solar. He collects rainwater right in the middle of the city.
If any of you guys remember, it's been a very long time. We had him on for a couple of shows, and he's a super interesting dude.
He is, but he is a very hardcore Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And he's another, this guy, he's been a conspiracy theorist for like 50 years or something. And I've sat there and had conversations with this guy, and we've talked about the left-right paradigm.
He knows better,
and
man.
identity politics, and he bought right into that as soon as Trump was president.
He's like super like into it, man.
He's like, I'm on the winning team. That's how
Yeah.
he's acting now. I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
wow, this guy, I thought he was highly intellectual.
He's
knew-
contradicting his own values, man.
Yep, that's my girlfriend.
Yeah, so
That was he's got a lot to say still too. We did 2 full hours of that guy just going through his story, and we barely even scratched the surface, man.
yeah. But we've talked about all these things. We continue to talk about it when it comes down to, the chemicals that are in your water.
It's hard to find information on that.
What, on fluoride?
Yes, Googling it.
Yeah.
It's buried.
Oh, I'm sure Google is having a huge situation now. I mean, they delist so many people now.
Dude.
It's ridiculous. And if you go to
They
YouTube, and you
delisted fluoride.
Yeah.
they
it's
bumped
just
it way
buried.
down the list
Yeah.
on
Right.
page 400 or something. I don't know. I'm sure you can go there and find some stuff.
No,
right
you
now.
can find a lot about fluoride, but you can't find anything about fluoride and use of fluoride on the public, like in water and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, municipal water supply.
Yeah, I mean, you really, really, really got to dig for that. They try their hardest to keep that out of your mouth, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if it's just say,
that's a weird
You
pun,
go into
isn't it?
YouTube and you type Black Lives Matter, or you type in something along those lines, and it'll give you all the the top mainstream media
Sure.
news sources first.
I would expect that.
And
but-
also, if you go to like Google and you try to search for Bob and Bob Show, it'll be Bob and Tom and Bob Show, and you won't find us until you type in Bob and Bob Show podcast, and we're on like page 40 or something stupid
dude,
like that.
I googled
We're on 30,
hexafluorosilicate.
page 3 now.
Oh, are we? I don't know. I mean, I know
Not
our,
even
moves
page
around.
3. We're just the third.
our
third
analytics
thing
have been
down.
changing. I
The
know.
first
I'm
two
trying
are
to monitor.
Bob and Bob, and the third one's us. The Bob and Tom. Then the first two are Bob and Tom. Third one's us.
Well, here's the thing. If I type in Bob and Bob, I should
Right.
get Bob and Bob.
Yeah.
I
It
shouldn't
goes to
get-
Bob and Tom.
It goes
dude.
to Bob and Tom Show.
Yeah.
So, that right there.
Those guys are huge.
What
though.
is, I get it, but what is Google doing? Like, I didn't type in Bob and
Right.
Tom. I typed in Bob and Bob. Wish I had an Alexa right here. I'd
Dude,
freaking
I-
ask it to put it on there.
I typed in hexafluorosilicate used in municipal water, and I found all kinds of PDFs and stuff and like scientific studies from university, things like that, but none of it was really what I was looking for. You have to go pages and pages before you really find the information you're looking for and what fluoride really does and where it comes from.
What, like
That it's
controls
a-
your mind?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it's the same compound that is in Prozac,
Right.
and that it's industrial waste
Well,
from aluminum foundries and things like that.
It's like going into the dictionary and you're gonna look up, let's say, ball, and then you go to the first page, BA, you go on alphabetically, and
Right.
look what happens. You get racket, or you get baseball bat.
Yeah.
I typed in, I'm looking for ball.
Ultimately, ball Zach is what you're looking for.
But why is Google?
Chops has got it covered.
Google de-ranks and only lists what they feel is right. They put the certain people on the top of the food chain because that's what they feel is right. And that's not right. That's not right at all.
I think it's totally automatic a lot of times.
Well, they have to understand if you type something in, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, maybe you might misspell it or something, you know, but
If you go to DuckDuckGo, you'll get a completely different response.
yeah, I haven't even gone to that yet. I need to check that out. And StartPage, you ever heard of StartPage.com? It's another, I think it's enhanced by Google. So I wonder if its results will be the
Dude,
same.
DuckDuckGo, if you type into Google like Clinton assassinations or something like that, you won't get what you're looking for. If you go to DuckDuckGo, it goes right to Clinton assassinations.
Nice. I mean, is that powered by Google? Probably not.
I don't think it is, man, because it's very, very different. What they show you right out the gate is very different. It's what you're looking for.
Is it an app?
It's a website, like a search engine.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Would you have to close out your Google search engine and then use that? Is that what you got to do?
You just go to your
On your
browser and
phone?
type in DuckDuckGo.
And then what? Pulls up
It
its
probably
own
has
little
Should,
app?
yeah.
It probably has a search box. And you can just
Yeah.
go there and do that. Same as StartPage, same thing.
Right, that's what it is.
You
yeah.
could probably make it your homepage or whatever.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was using.
But you know, Google Chrome, I mean, it saves all your passwords. It keeps track of what you're doing. So instead of you having this list of passwords next to you and you have to type in your password, boom, it catches it. You log
Yeah.
into their analytics. They're watching your analytics. You tell it what to do. And I mean, it's a great platform.
Mhm.
But I think that there's just like so much deviant stuff going on inside
Well,
there.
they're collecting your entire life in it, man.
It's awful.
Edward Snowden's book just came out.
Did it?
It's a worldwide bestseller.
Oh, great. Yeah.
He's already being sued by several government agencies like the CIA for the NSA and the CIA are taking issue because they didn't get to censor it first before he published it.
Oh, wow. They
Yeah.
don't get to censor it first?
They didn't get to censor it first. That guy is one brave MF, dude.
Yeah, he is.
Snowden. He's
Yeah.
no joke, man. He's a superhero.
What about Chelsea Manning?
It's a superhero too.
It's a superhero too. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's stunning and brave. It really is. I mean, those people, they literally, and they know they're putting their lives on the line. They're putting their lives on the line to tell people the truth.
I know.
And they know they're doing
Well,
it.
there's a whistleblower out now, something about Trump's conversation with Ukraine, trying to sabotage Biden's election stuff. Did you see that?
No.
Nah, some whistleblower. You know, in the
You know, Biden can sabotage himself without any help, okay?
Elizabeth Warren, I think, and Trump is actually saying she's better than Biden.
Dude,
so is Elizabeth?
either one of them is a nightmare.
Are
if
they
you ask me.
are they setting it up for Elizabeth Warren? What's going on here?
I don't want any in there. I don't want anybody.
I don't want
in there.
nobody.
Open
I don't,
office.
man. I don't.
Nobody.
Like eliminate the presidency, man.
Where is Jerry Springer? Where is Jerry Springer? Calling Jerry Springer.
Right.
We want you for president.
He was a mayor of Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to.
I thought he was I thought he was the mayor of a place in Ohio. He was the mayor of
Chicago.
Cincinnati.
Was it
What?
Cincinnati?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Where does Chops come out of the woodwork like
Mayor
that?
of Cincinnati. Which one was it? I don't
The mayor
remember
of
now.
Cincinnati.
It was the mayor of Cincinnati.
I don't have Google
I think
in
it's
front of me.
Cincinnati. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in Ohio.
Dude, I put my phone in a box and buried it in the yard for the show,
Yeah,
so I can't look.
my personal assistant is not around me right now, so
Rocky,
no, not Rocky. My cell phone.
we should have let Man Bear Pig in here.
Yeah, that dog's crazy. You know, we're coming up on, let's see here, we got an hour, 18 minutes. We still got like 10 minutes left. So if anybody wants to call in, feel free to do so we can kind of check this out.
Where's
because
John Heidish, man?
I'm not sure. He might have a crazy name in here. You know, I don't know. 111
People
is.
might be
Is
at
that
work
Ziegler?
too.
I don't know.
So,
Heidish would be on the phone right now calling us out on some bull.
oh, yeah, he definitely wouldn't. He's like, Trump, Trump, Trump. I hate
He's
Trump.
on fire with it though, man.
Yeah. You know, we have, you know, the climate change. The NBC News is asking Americans to confess their climate change sins.
What does
Yeah.
that even mean? What?
They're saying it's a sin for, you know, if you use plastic.
A sin.
Yeah. Did you throw plastic away? Did you buy this? How many miles did you drive today? How much carbon footprint are you having? Do you feel guilty? It is a sin.
You know, do you live in a city? Then mind your own business. You know what I mean?
Why is NBC asking people to confess their climate change.
It's just
sins.
they're just trying to drum up some attention.
Did you count your farts today?
Right.
They're trying to make a story.
Yeah, I saw you posted something on the Bob and Bob Show page about cow farts or what it was
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, cow farts.
Cow farts.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Oh, it's just a BS meme from Turning Point USA. Those memes are funny because they're usually totally refutable. Like they're not usually very factual. Like it'll be a half truth. It's kind of true, but not really. It's not the whole story.
Yeah.
So I throw stuff up there to see if people will get on it and start yelling about stuff.
Yeah, they did too.
I know.
So like, that's not a cow, that's a buffalo.
Yeah,
Or it was
bison.
Bison, you know. And you're only accounting for the U.S. You're not accounting for the
It's
whole
true,
world.
though.
I
It's
mean,
true.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But I mean, how much?
Well, the reality, the industrial food complex is not sustainable. It's not. The
I know.
amount of energy that we put into feeding ourselves is not self-sustaining. It's a serious problem, and it's very, very complicated.
I would like a Mexi melt with no pico.
And it's because people eat out of a box and out of a bag instead of out of their gardens, man. That has so much to do with it.
There's too much work involved with doing a garden.
There wouldn't be if you weren't a wage slave.
Yeah, you're constantly.
We're talking about a whole the whole structure of civilization is it will crumble on itself at some point.
Yeah.
Because of things like ruining the environment. It is finite. It's renewable, but it's finite. Like you can refill your gas tank, but if you run out of gas, you can't get back to the gas station.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of a good analogy, but
I guess.
yeah, I mean, you can drive on forever as long as you don't run out of gas. And you will run out of gas if you can't replenish the gas in your gas tank before it runs out.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with natural resources. Any of them.
Mhm.
Any of them. It takes a lot of energy for a cow to live, for it to be killed and used. And its life is absolutely abhorrent the whole time.
Well, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense there, Bob.
Sure, exactly. That's part of the problem is that we're so profit-centric and corporations take on a consciousness of their own, and it's always psychopathic.
You would think
psychopathic.
with
There's no personal accountability in any of it.
well with making well, what's up, man? You know, making things biodegradable, that sounds to me like a good profitability situation. Like if it's biodegradable,
The paradigm has to shift to that.
you
though.
can make it a throwaway thing. It doesn't hurt the planet, and you got to keep remaking.
You
it.
have to convince a sociopath that is raking in gold long that he can stop raking for a second, shift his focus over here, and then start raking it in again.
Well,
They're not going to do it because they don't give a crap, dude. They
Yeah.
don't care.
They don't want to retool. They don't want to change things up. It's going
The
to
only thing that's going to change it is enough individuals becoming a collective that refuse to practice living that way and using those products. Once they don't have anybody to sell their garbage to, they'll go to something else. You have to force
the
them.
planet's going to have to catch on fire or something before that happens.
That
It
might
seems like.
happen. That's what
Yeah.
makes it a crisis, man.
Like
You
they're,
see what
they're
I'm saying?
literally going to destroy humanity and go fly up to the dark side of the moon or something and
Yeah.
just come back and recolonize or something. I mean,
Hey, we left Mars once already.
what part? I mean, I don't get it.
We
It's
terraformed
so-
Earth to get here from Mars.
It is
after-
so far
Right.
gone. The planet is so far gone.
We don't even know.
It's probably
We really don't
it's
know.
probably beyond what we think.
Probably.
And the elites are ready, and we are not.
I know that there is
Aliens are ready. They've already sent octopus
They've always
to
been
take
ready.
over for us.
You know what they can do?
Sent octopus to take over for us.
Oh, so that's going to be the new civilization is octopus.
You know what aliens can do if they're not ready? They can go back in time a little bit and prepare some more.
Yep. Just go back, reset button.
I
don't have a reset
I think
button
most
in front of me.
There is a huge trend right now of billionaires building massive underground bunkers that we don't know a whole lot about.
Well, I mean, I think that is underground really going to save them?
In I don't know. I mean, probably
Not if the world blows up.
Well, I don't think they're looking at nuclear war. I think they're just looking at a contingency for massive collapse should that happen, because they know their model's not sustainable.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like being a drug dealer that's making $1,000 cash an hour. There is so much reward for that risk, even though the risk is you going to jail for the rest of your life. You still keep doing it.
Right.
Because
Well,
you're making like 20 grand a week.
Yeah,
dude.
you're
you know,
you're a profit addict.
it's just like Breaking Bad. You know what?
You've already-
That's what it is.
You've already accepted it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah,
You're
it becomes
ready
a
to live it up
lust.
till then.
It's a lust, man. It's sociopathic.
Well, it's just pointing fingers, and it's like, who is the real criminals here? Is it government? Is it
The
corporations?
human race.
Is it we're just
It's both.
Are we just a
Dude, they're the
freaking
same thing.
infestation?
They JO all day. with
Is
each other.
humans just an infestation on the planet that's
Yes.
killing it?
Yeah.
I mean, are we just going to kill ourselves?
Yeah.
That's what you think?
Human beings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Human beings are a scourge to everything they come in contact with.
I mean, is it?
I mean, if you really want to be honest
is
about
it
it.
possible that we can actually be caring human beings and nurture the planet
Sure.
and ourselves?
Yeah.
How do we change that?
No, actually,
Well-
it can't. People are way too lazy for that.
Well, here's what
They're
happens.
ready
though.
to go, and then they're done.
Say we do that. Say we get rid of war. Say we get rid of like cancer and all these things that are killing people in droves. And then our population, like, I mean, we are an infestation, man.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have to go to other planets and infest them too.
Right. We're going to have to start off. We're going to have to become interstellar.
Humankind is an absolutely abhorrent experiment.
You
I hate to
think,
say
you
it.
think we're an experiment?
Yeah, well, I mean, take that however you want. I'm just saying the existence of humanity is one really whack anomaly, and that we can, in our own individual consciousness and in the collectives, we can have some things that are good, or I guess, but as I don't know, dude. I mean, if you just look at what people have done since the beginning of time and what we're doing now, humanity's really not good.
I try to have faith, but it's just it doesn't seem right anymore. Like we have been taken control of by some evil humans.
Yeah.
There's like some serious evil, crazy,
just
psychopathic humans.
Just for our sustenance, look at what we do, though.
Well, why is it that good never does anything and evil always is
Good
the one?
does on a very small scale.
Yeah, save somebody from a car wreck scale,
Or just, raise your own food instead of buying slaughterhouse meat.
or teach your children properly and give them the right food.
Teach them logic
Yeah.
and rational thought,
To look
critical
to
analysis.
look at both sides of the coin. Oh my
Sure.
gosh, what a freaking concept!
You know what? We don't need schools anymore because YouTube can replace them right now.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that would screw up school. But that would
I
screw
know.
up the
They
intellect.
already are. They're already teaching kids at home. There's
So,
already so
right.
many kids on them computer school.
Well, I know.
It's going to go that way.
You have to continue to keep pushing the
The,
propaganda.
the old institutions don't die easy, though, man. And there's a lot of waste in that. In their death, there's a lot of waste in that. Like
Well-
somebody sitting in a nursing home for 50 years, you know what I mean?
Oh, that would
Like,
suck.
Right, but that's what I'm talking about. It's incredibly top heavy, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what a large part of civilization is. It's just decay that won't just go away, man. And become something else.
Plant a bunch of trees, grow a bunch of hemp.
How's that for a positive message?
Somebody said earlier, bees and trees.
Bees and trees.
Bees and trees.
Kill the flame.
Well, I don't know how many bees we're gonna have if that 5G keeps killing them.
Right.
Remember that one
Dude.
report we found? That all
Yeah.
these dead bees around a 5G tower.
It's nothing but a weapon. We don't need it. And I don't want it.
I mean, yeah,
It's going to be forced on me, just like my phone bill.
I don't know. 4G seems pretty good to me. I don't know why we need a 5G.
Well, they'll just turn it down.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
we talked about that. They'll make you force you into 5G.
Yeah, 4G doesn't work anymore all of a sudden, guys.
Is there even 3G around anymore? You remember 3G?
Yeah, I end up with 3G sometimes,
Well,
dude.
if you get in a bad
I've
area,
had such horrible service. It's totally not worth what I'm paying. I'm going to have to do something about that.
it's a crazy situation. Well, let's just fry humanity's brain with 5G, and we'll just continue on until
Dude,
we're all
if,
dead.
if everybody's fried stupid, they won't have any problem with it.
I don't know. Maybe this thing coming from
They'll be
outside,
too dumb to see it.
Maybe this thing coming from the outside of the solar system is just going to slam right into the Earth.
Probably not. We'll blow it out of the sky.
Yeah, we would.
North
Yeah,
Korea will do it for us.
North Korea.
We got what are them called? Space? What the space weapons? What are the space?
Here's
weapons
what's going to
called?
happen.
Listen, we have missiles and cruise missiles and stuff set up with Saudi Arabia to protect Saudi Arabia, but they still bomb the oil fields over there.
Yeah.
Or they still say Iran got through.
Right.
So if the U.S. can't even stop that, how are we going to stop a comet coming from outside the solar system?
Dude.
I mean, we let planes come in for 9/11. You know what I mean? And run into the freaking World Trade Center. Like,
We're going to have to put together a show for that.
for what, 9/11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars. That's what it's called.
What's
Chops.
Star Wars. That's what the weapons are called.
I
Yeah,
get
up
it.
in
Oh, they're
space.
actually calling it that?
No, it is a
Star-
program. It's
Yeah,
been
they
a
call it
thing.
Star
But
Wars.
here's what's going to happen: North Korea is going to send a nuke up to knock out the comet, and the U.S. is going to shoot their nuke out of the sky, and then the comet's going to hit the Earth.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen.
So,
Well, we're at the end there, buddies. Man, that was a long show, but I'd like
Yeah.
to thank everybody for listening.
hey, this was a good first liver here, man.
Like us on Facebook. Go to the BobBobShow.com page.
You had the whole show to play with that keyboard, and you wait till now.
Until next time, thank you very much for listening.
See you next week, everybody.
Up on the mic. We can do it.